Welcome everybody to Scarves and Spikes Playoff Prediction Part 2. How's it going, guys?
Doing well. First off, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully you and yours have a great holiday week. I will be on the road with family, so whatever you all are doing, we just wish you all are safe and well.
Yeah. PSA from a pilgrim. If you haven't brined your turkey yet, do it now. Get it ready. Get it going. It makes the biggest difference in the world, I'm telling you. But other than that, I'm jet lagged from Germany. I'm freaking
International
tired.
duty.
Yeah. Scouting trip.
I feel like this is your favorite holiday, by the way, Tyler. You are a pilgrim, by the way. So.
Oh yeah, this is in the blood. This is like, it is sacrilege if you don't celebrate this holiday.
Is there like a calendar, like somewhere in your house where it's like 365 days until I could tell a pilgrim joke again?
No, not quite, but I do. All right, those little salt and pepper shakers that look like pilgrims.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pretty much up year round in our house, and it's always a reminder that the holiday that everybody forgets about is on its way.
Good stuff.
Sweetest day?
Good stuff.
Yoo-hoo. What?
You said the holiday everybody forgets.
You said Swedish day?
Sweetest day. It's not Swedish day.
Like what?
Do you celebrate Swedish? Oh wow,
no.
We're in our off-season mode already.
90 seconds in.
This is great.
Go this is off-season mode. All right.
You know what else I'm excited about is playoffs this weekend.
It feels like it's already over. Like the scheduling has not been good, right? Like you have this best of three, and then you go on a break. And like you've got all this momentum, right, for the playoffs. You're pumped. You just watched, a couple great best of three, and then everything just stops. Dead air. Now I don't know if anybody's gotten hurt. I haven't really paid attention if anybody on international duty in the playoffs has been hurt. Haven't seen anything, so that sounds good. But before we get started with the predictions, look back. I watched our last video, and we each got one series wrong. So Sydney. St. Louis let you down.
They did. They really
Tyler,
did.
You had New England, which was, I think, the most shocking pick of all of our predictions. For somehow, I think it was more shocking than I guess I picked Nashville. Like, I don't know why I picked Nashville. I just thought that Orlando was going to choke.
It wasn't a bad guess. I mean, I probably, if I were in my right mind, I probably would have picked Nashville as well. But whatever.
Nashville forgot to score.
Yeah, they just forgot.
Can't win if you don't score.
How to play on the other side of the pitch.
So that leads me to the question before we get to predictions. Best of three. What did you think about it, and why? Did you think it was a good format? Do you want it to come back?
I think MLS will take a look at it just for the reason we just talked about, just the length of time between the best of three and when series resume, because a lot of these teams haven't played for their club in about 3 weeks. So that's the number one thing that MLS is going to have to look at is how do we compress this? How do we make this so the players are happy? Players have made no secret that they aren't fans of it. Some of these players aren't fans of
coaches.
And coaches. So MLS and MLSPA are going to have some conversations, I think, in the offseason in Apple, how to make this better, how to make this more compressed, because it just seems like ages ago, man, the mental just kind of stops. So
well, I'll ask you a follow-up to that. So if there was no international break and we just had best of three and then it went straight to single elimination, are you cool with the format, or would you prefer we go back to best of one, go back to the two games? What do you like it?
If it were me, I'd probably go straight knockout stages. If it were me, if I were in charge, but that's just my 2 cents.
No, I see. I mean, I like that, and I definitely think for the amount of games that you have in a season, like it probably makes sense to just do a knockout. But also, you know what the playoffs are? The playoffs are obviously a very American thing, but it's a chance for, more money is going to be coming in, right? There's more games being played, so I think. But for me, traditionally, the 2-leg, home and away, just keep it simple. You both get the equal opportunity to have your home match, right? I don't like the best of three. I just don't. I think it's I think it would actually work better in other countries. I don't think the United States, with how big it is and how the away system is set up and travel and all, I just don't think it's set up well for this. I don't think it's, I don't want to use the word fair because I do understand that, the points in the league, that is what gives you home field advantage. But that just it opens up a can of worms. And I think we've seen that with this so far. And we still have a long way to go in the playoffs. But I don't know. I don't like it. I think stick with the classic aggregate, home and away, or like you said, Sydney, just the knockout and be done with it. But if you want to keep money coming in, just do home and away.
Tommy, how do you feel about the playoffs? Best of 3.
For someone that went to all 3, I'm exhausted. it took a little bit to get back on track. The home playoff game, like you said, Tyler, I think was huge, right? Atlanta hasn't had a playoff game since the Eastern Conference Finals against Toronto, right? Like, while it was on a Tuesday, which has been my thing that I just keep yelling at the sky as an old man, I thought that it was special to be able to have that playoff game again, like to get your fans into it. And, the season's so long, I understand that, but being able to get your fans to experience a playoff game, I think is real special. So whether you keep the best of 3 or you go the 2-2 aggregate, I think it's great. It's just Americans don't like to math, and you try to explain to people that aren't, soccer enthusiasts. I remember I was at a bar at the second game of the Eastern Conference Finals with Red Bulls, and I'm sitting there, and a guy came up to me, see me with my Atlanta United kit, and he asked me to explain. He's like, "Oh, you guys are losing. So what happens after this?" I go, "No. We scored 3 in the first game, so we're good. We're gonna make it." He goes, "That's stupid." And I was like, I get it. I understand, but that's the rules. And I'm pretty happy right now that we're losing only 1-0 with, a couple of minutes left to go. So Americans don't like the math.
It's like the U.S. losing to Trinidad 2-1, but still advancing.
Oh boy,
that's another topic. That's another
Serginho
topic.
Let's kick that. Let's kick that into the stands and blow a kiss to it later. Okay. Too soon? Is it too soon?
No,
not soon enough. Not soon enough. Not at all.
Just checking.
But yeah. Shall we?
All right. Yeah, let's get started. The playoffs are all this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday is the Eastern Conference Day, right? So we start off at 5:30 on Apple TV. What we could have been,
I know,
the Columbus Crew against that team down south, Orlando.
Orlando's not the south, by the way. But go on.
That is true. Directionally south, but yes.
Okay, whatever. Look, I don't like the math. I don't want a geography. Okay, so Sydney, what do you think of this series?
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. Just yanking your chain. Look, Orlando.
Yankee. I was like, wow, we're getting really into it here.
Yeah. No, but Orlando. Look, I mean, they're just really in form right now. They haven't lost in the last 7 across all competitions, right? Going into the sweep against Nashville, and we mentioned it earlier. Nashville just hit a wall toward the latter portions of the season, couldn't score, and that hurt them. And Orlando just needed the 1 goal to get through in both matches, so they didn't need a ton of goals against Nashville. I don't think that'll be the case against Columbus. Columbus have goals in them, where Nashville did it. So I feel like Columbus, in that sense, will look to be the protagonist of the match, even though they're away at Exploria Stadium, which is always a unique environment. Key to this match for Columbus is Cucho Hernandez. I mean, you can't depend on Alex Matan and a Darlington Nagbe blast from distance. Well, not really, but you can depend on that to get through.
Now that's too soon. That's too soon for me.
Rude.
Yeah, but right. No, but he's gonna be their guy. He's gonna be Columbus's guy. And Orlando, if I'm Orlando, I focus on him almost exclusively. That's not to say other players can't score, but he is their talisman. He is their star man. We mentioned this going into the Atlanta series. It's gonna be all about Cucho, and I think that's gonna be the case in the series between Orlando and Columbus. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but this could be a little bit of a shootout. Columbus is not Nashville. Columbus knows how to score goals. They have goals in them, as we saw in the Atlanta series. So I think that there'll be goals in this one by both teams, but I think Orlando being at home will get the better of Columbus. I'm going to say 3-2 Orlando to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay. I agree. I mean, my TLDR version is yes, Orlando wins. I think it's gonna be a fun match though. Like as a neutral, I legitimately think this is probably one of my favorite matchups for this entire set of playoffs. Yeah. So the one thing to remember too is Orlando has kind of had Columbus's number over the years. They're 10-4-6, I think is my stat I saw earlier. Orlando with the 10 wins. They also haven't been beaten by Columbus in 2 years. So I mean, you're going back to like October of 2021 when that happened. It was 3-2, and I think it was at home. I think it was Columbus at home.
They almost beat them this year. They almost did, and then they blew a huge lead.
Yep. Yeah, because that was what, September. It was 4-3.
We were together during that game. That was that was a game where we looked at the score and go, "Wow, Orlando's getting
what the heck is going
destroyed."
On and then all of a sudden,
we looked at the phone like an hour later. We're like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
Yep. So yeah, I think Orlando just has really found that rhythm in the last part of the season. Well, really the last half of the season, and just they've got something going for them. Columbus, I mean, even against Atlanta, obviously Atlanta's great, attacking football, very shaky defensively, but Atlanta showed that you can expose Columbus to goals, right? And again, home field advantage. So I got to go Orlando.
Columbus wins 3-1. I think they're going to learn their lessons from going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, having a bad performance there. Now, it wasn't a must-win for them in that situation, but, I mean, they talked a lot and said that they were going to, they wanted to sweep it and not have to play that third game, and obviously that didn't happen. I think they learned their lesson. I'm still not that impressed by Orlando. I think Orlando is going to get a lot better in the next couple of years, adding actual DPs to their roster, right? But I don't think that this is their time yet. And I think they get smoked at home.
You're going to hear from Orlando fans after this video is up. As if they needed more ammo.
I'm going to say, by the way, 2-1. I didn't give my number, but 2-1 Orlando.
Okay.
I guess I'm from Ohio. I have to say something positive about him. Talking trash about him for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But we're going to stay in Ohio because now we've got at 8 o'clock in Columbus, Cincinnati, Philadelphia Union. It's a big game. Two big clubs. Philadelphia trying to avenge what happened last year. What do you think is going to happen?
TLDR, Cincinnati wins. But I guess I should give a full explanation. Storyline here, obviously, what you mentioned, Tommy, but other than that, outside of that, Pat Noonan, former Union assistant under Jim Curtin, Chris Albright, former assistant TD at Philadelphia. The two of them have come into Cincinnati and just literally turned the club upside down from a wooden spoon team to Supporter Shield winners. So hats off to them. That's a terrific job done by both coach and technical staff. We've said it before. We'll say it again about Cincinnati. They rarely lose at home. They have arguably the best home field advantage in MLS at this current point in time. TKL Stadium has just been an absolute fortress for them, night in and night out. And the match, for that reason alone, I feel like favors them greatly. The fact that they don't have Miazga, I wonder how that's going to factor into things. That might leave a big hole defensively. So whoever fills that hole where Miazga will be, I'll be taking a look at that. But offensively, you have Lucho Acosta, the presumptive MVP. You have Brandon Vasquez. You have a lot of weapons in your arsenal if you're Columbus. Philadelphia, you look at the series against New England, the rest just had a lot going on. No coach, just discord within the locker room between the staff and players. It was just a mess up there, and that favored Philadelphia that much. That being said, Cincinnati, just totally different story. Like Cincy, they're missing a key defender, Kai Wagner, due to the racism investigation. He'll be suspended for this match as well. That being said, I said it earlier, but Cincinnati all the way 2-0 over Philadelphia to go through, and really sticking with Cincinnati as my MLS Cup team, one of the MLS Cup teams, or half of the bracket, I should say.
I like it. I also say Cincinnati. I almost had a heart attack when I was looking at the stats a minute ago with like the team's forms over the past like 5 matches, because it said that they had FC Cincinnati beat the Red Bulls 9-8, and then I realized they were talking about Tony. I was like, oh my god. Philly,
you are jet lagged.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
It's really bad.
So I don't know. Philly just has not been convincing to me in this last half of the year at all. I mean, they've not really, to me, had any super convincing statement wins, even in the wins that they've had. You go back to Atlanta and Philly, the bad one, not the good one, where, they go up 3-0, and then Atlanta almost comes back and pulls a draw out of it in the second half. I mean, it's just not, to me, at this point, not MLS Cup winning quality. And you're going up against the Supporter Shield winners. They're good. The only thing maybe you can hang your hat on, if you're lucky, is Cincy having maybe the Miazga issue or whatever, and maybe their heads are not going to be there. But that's not been Cincy this year. They've been a very disciplined team. And yes, like you said, home field advantage is wild this year. So I'm going to say 2-1 Cincy.
I'll throw this in there too. Last time these two teams met, they both ended with 10 men. So I don't know if that kind of factors into things for this one. But
I'm cheering for it.
There. Yeah.
I think this game will be chaos. Before you say that, I think that these two teams, I think Philadelphia feels like they should be where Cincinnati is, right? Like they've constantly have said that they want to be the top of MLS consistently, and they've had their ups and downs this year, right? Like I expected Philadelphia to have a little bit better of a season, but obviously they were invested in other things, and I just don't see Philly being able to take off Cincinnati. I don't know if Cincinnati. Yeah. I'm hoping for an all Ohio conference final. That's really my hope, because I think you need this, right, for rivalries. Like you create this. We could talk about this next week when I'm right and this is what happened. But I think that you need if you want to take another rivalry to another level, the Hell's Real is going to be something if it ends up being the conference finals. And I feel like we're getting that way. I feel like that's where we're going. I'm pumped for it. So give me Cincinnati 100%.
Okay. You have a scoreline? You said chaos. You have a scoreline?
4-3.
Oh yeah, that's again, I want my money's worth in that match.
Look, when Atlanta's not in games, I want nonstop chaos in every single game, no matter what I watch, whether it's the Hawks, the Falcons, whatever. I just want complete chaos. But when it's my team watching, I just want a comfortable win. I don't want to stress out. I don't want to have that extra drink later at night. I just want to sit back and enjoy it on the couch.
Yeah. No,
I want to laugh at other teams, and I want to laugh and enjoy this chaos.
And I want good environments. Oh, that's the second piece. With soccer, I want good environments. Bring the heat. All these teams bring the heat.
TQL is that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Imagine TQL Stadium with Columbus fans only an hour away.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fun.
So we get to the Western Conference on Sunday, both games on Sunday. First one, it's a late one. It's a late night. So if you want to hang out and be an MLS crazy guy, you're going to be up late. Sicko. You're going to be up until probably midnight. But we start with the Houston Dynamo and Sporting Kansas City. I can't believe this is actually a matchup and in the semis.
I have to correct you. I don't know if you're talking about Seattle LAFC at 9:30, but I have to correct you. This is 7 Eastern kickoff on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the early one. Yeah, the late one's the 9:30 one.
Gotcha. Okay. But Houston Sporting Kansas City. Hats off to Ben Olsen, by the way, in his first year with Houston. Makes it end on a good note. In DC, some would argue he was there for too long, and some would argue that ownership were more loyal to him than they should have been from a coaching standpoint. He's a club legend, but at the same time, probably best that they parted ways. He's just done a terrific job of Houston. mean, look at how they're playing. Look at where they are right now in the playoffs. Look at the excitement that's surrounding Houston right now. We talk about environments, Tyler, Shell Energy Stadium, Hell in the Shell. As
did you say Hell in a Cell?
Hell in a
I
Cell.
said
Yeah.
Freudian slip.
If we have a Hell in a Cell soccer
Right.
match,
Let's
man,
go.
Yeah.
bring it.
But Hell in the Shell, I mean, as vibrant a home atmosphere there is in MLS, and a lot of it is due to the heat in Houston in the summer. And he's just said, it's just miserable to play in on summer nights. But Sporting Kansas City, I mean, you can't look past what they've done. You can't look past the job that Peter Vermees has done. You got kind of handed a raw deal beginning of the season. They're just dealing with injuries all over the place. Now they're healthy. They have that sense of belief. They have really a chip on their shoulder. And they're a team that has been a really, really good form. We've talked about this before. They've just been a terrific form over the past number of months. They swept St. Louis. I didn't really think they would, as you all know, but they swept St. Louis, and they have a tough but no, but they have a tough one going into Houston. That being said, I think are you guys done?
No, we're not done. We're just being idiots at this point. Continue. We're listening. 30% listening, but we're listening.
Right. No, but all in all, I think Sporting Kansas City, just the form they've been in, just the sense of the belief that Peter Vermees has instilled in this team and the form. I mean, I think they'll go into Houston and win this one. I say 3-1. I think Sporting have a few goals in them. I'm going to say 3-1. I think that they'll be able to punch their ticket as an 8 seed to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, they'll be on the road, but I don't think they'll be shaken by the environment at all. So 3-1, Sporting Kansas City.
Not getting burned twice.
Right.
Getting burned twice by them.
Exactly.
On the bandwagon.
Exactly. Sorry, Sporting Kansas City fans, by the way. My earlier transgressions.
I think SKC does it. Because I mean, you don't really have a lot to go on with, especially being the away match. Like, nobody really in their right mind probably picks the away team in a knockout round in MLS to win, but their form, like you said, has just been outstanding. I mean, I don't know past the past 5, but they've won their past 5, and they won the past 5 pretty convincingly. The St. Louis games, 2-1 and 4-1. Against San Jose 4-2, against Minnesota 3-1, and then against Salt Lake 3-2. So, like, they're not just winning, they're putting up goals, right? And so I think this is that situation where you have a team that just figured it out. Similar to Orlando, but Orlando's been a little more consistent. Kansas City was awful. 10 games in the beginning of the year, they just barely could do anything, right? And so Peter Vermees finally got it right. I guess he realized that contract extension wasn't like guaranteed if he freaking can't get the team to do anything, but he got him going, right? And he did his job, and they're playing with confidence. I think that's my biggest thing with SKC is they go out there and they look like they know what is up. They're going to go out there and they're going to play confidently. They're going to play their game, and they're going to just manhandle the other team into doing it. And Houston definitely going to be a challenge, but I just don't think Houston's been consistent enough. And right now, Kansas City has all the momentum. So, I'm going to say SKC, and I'm going to say – I don't want to say 2-1 again because I keep saying that. I'll go – because of the amount of goals, I'm going to go 4-2.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, this is the winner loses to the Seattle LAFC Bowl. And that's – I don't think either one of these teams are going to be able to beat Seattle or LAFC early on. I'm giving too much bulletin board material. I'm going to get canceled by the end of these playoffs, 100%. I think this is going to be the headline is going to be Sporting KC says the international break ruined our momentum and Houston wins.
Valid point.
Sticking with the home team.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the home team. I say it's 2-2. Houston wins in penalties.
That's valid. Yeah, I mean, Look, if you're going to have an excuse, that's a good one.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's credence to that. There's definitely credence to that. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that factors into these matches here. So
we get to the last match, 9:30. Drink some coffee during the day. Seattle Sounders, LAFC at Lumen Field. I'm going to start this one off here if you don't mind. I felt LAFC gave half the effort against the Vancouver. Like, I don't even feel like they didn't really even have to try in there. Like, watching that series. Now, the second game was complete chaos, right? Like,
oh yeah,
you got a goal that scored because the ref took a player down. Complete madness. I loved it. I loved every second of it. But it just felt like LAFC had an extra gear. But they were like, we don't have to give that gear because we're playing Vancouver. Please, hopefully, nobody sends this to any Vancouver fans. Here we go again.
There's lots of receipts here for you, buddy.
There's so many. I just might not show up next week, and you guys can handle the conference.
I'm just gonna replace your photo with all of your comments.
Just like the picture, like all gray with like X's, like canceled on it. I feel like LAC has an extra gear, but Seattle, as we brought up on the last one, they have not lost a game since they lost to Atlanta United.
Yeah.
This is the matchup for me. That is the must watch, and it'll probably be the least watch because it's on Sunday at 9:30. But
what else is going on at Sunday night, by the way? I forget.
Sunday at 9?
Were you asking me? I'm jet lagged.
No, right. I'm trying to make a joke about Sunday night football going on.
Oh yeah, whatever.
I mean, this is gonna be a late one, but I feel like this is gonna be the best of the four. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's gonna end up 3-2, and I think it's going to be LAFC.
Okay.
Going to the conference finals, since I already said the other team was gonna.
Yeah.
This is the loser bowl, the other side.
Yeah, we were kind of joking about it. It's not the ideal time slot. I mean, you got Sunday night football going at the same time. So this is definitely, if you're an MLS fan and an NFL fan, definitely a multi-screen experience kind of night. If there's one thing I've learned about the Sounders, is never count them out. This is a team that always traditionally seems to respond whenever their backs are against the wall. And Brian Schmetzer has built really a strong team out there. Tommy, you mentioned that they haven't lost since losing to Atlanta. So they're in very good form right now. LAFC, I mean, you mentioned it, Tommy. Felt like they didn't really need to put too much against Vancouver, but Seattle is a different beast. That being said, they're the defending champions. They know what playoffs are all about. I mean, so do the Sounders, but they know what it takes to win, MLS Cup. Just did it last year. They're champions until someone shows otherwise. Denny Bouanga is best scorer in MLS, so he'll play a part in this one. And I think they're more than capable of beating Seattle at home, or on the road, I should say. So I'm going to say it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to say LAFC maybe scores one goal and then just holds off Seattle for the rest of the night on 1-0. And I think that they'll advance to the Western Conference Final.
I'm going to deviate. I'm going to say Seattle.
Contrarian.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be honest. I don't really have any other rhyme or reason other than this match is going to come down to whatever team decides to show up. And I know it's like very like John Madden to say like something obvious, right? But like,
you got to play the game to play the game.
Yeah, all we need now is a touchdown. They'll win the game. Like I just. Obvious things aside, like it's really tough because both of these teams have gone through moments this entire season where like they just looked off. Like LA has had that moment where for almost 2 months they just couldn't win. They were not doing well at all. Seattle, it seems like they do that every year in the beginning, and then they figure out how to play soccer again, and then we wind up here in the playoffs. Yeah, so I just think Seattle has the stability to pull this one out. And I think LAFC could at any point, nick a goal or two. But ultimately, I just think Seattle is the one that's going to show up to play. And that's because I flipped a coin before we started this, and it said, and also I want to cheer for Seattle. So I like them, but I guess I'll give you a score line. Oh, buddy. I'm going to say 1-1 and then Seattle in penalties.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our playoff predictions. Thank you for hanging out with us. Before we go, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Garbs and Spikes. I've got it 2 times in a row. Just took me till the end of the season, so I got it.
Well done.
We have got a Discord. We do watch-alongs throughout the season. The season's over. We might do a watch-along for MLS Cup. We'll figure that out here soon. Yeah. We've got our Discord. Everybody loves to hang out there. Some interviews. We're going to be doing stuff throughout the off-season as well. Obviously, we're going to be doing some instant reactions when players get signed. Sydney could teach us how to pronounce their names. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Luis Suarez.
I was canceled once again by. I could say that name. I won't screw that one up. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with us. And is there anything else I missed?
Website and stickers.
Spikes.com. Stickers. Buy your stickers. And if you haven't checked out the video yet, highly recommend. Sydney and I did a video last week, end of season roster moves. We go over each player leaving. Great video to listen to, understand who's going, who's staying. Mm-hmm. And we're very thankful. I'm running out of chances to say this.
Almighty.
We're very thankful for all of you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And
thanks. Like and subscribe. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Brine your turkey.
Yes.
Click the button. Pilgrim it up.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week for the conference finals predictions.
And come on the Patreon. Again, come on the Patreon. We got lots of cool stuff coming. Maybe you can listen to me talk about Bayern Munich for 30 minutes or something. I don't know. We'll see. But come join us.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one.
See y'all.
See ya.
See ya.